Before the advent of modern antipsychotic medications, most sufferers of schizophrenia were unable to live or function independently.
You seem kind of down today.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share with us something of what's going on in your mind? How you're feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Basically, but mentally, I'm a mess. All I have is thoughts going across my head of all sorts.
Do they make sense?
No.
Guess, is there anything that you'd like to tell us or ask us?
No.
You're about getting ready to change your medications, aren't you?
Yes.
When's that going to?
Forward to that.
You're looking forward to that?
Yes.
I can remember when I was a resident in psychiatry, we had nothing specific with which to treat our patients, except perhaps shock treatment, which seldom helped, or cool baths. We had to tie them into a bathtub under a canvas restraint, and it was a pretty awful situation. I remember that I went away for a year of fellowship abroad, 1953 and 54, and when I returned, the new drug, chlorpromazine, which we knew as Thorazine, had just been made available, and it was the difference between night and day. Suddenly, we had an agent which, while not curing the disease, made it possible for at least some of these patients to be reclaimed, to even live a halfway normal life with their families, and in some cases going out to work, so that the field changed enormously at that point.
Antipsychotic drugs alleviate the symptoms of schizophrenia by normalizing the chemistry of the brain. In the brain, the nerves never actually touch. They're separated by small gaps known as synapses. Chemicals released from one nerve ending attach to the surface of the next nerve ending, causing the nerve to respond electrically. In the case of schizophrenia, there seems to be excessive activity at the synapses that use the neurotransmitter dopamine. Antipsychotic drugs reduce this activity.
Well, it was found relatively quickly that these neuroleptics all seem to act on one particular type of neurotransmitter, the so-called dopamine system, nerve cells which use dopamine as a transmitter, and that they block the receptors for dopamine over here. So that led rise to a theory of schizophrenia, that schizophrenia is a relative excess of dopamine. We don't know if it's a true excess or just in some way or other there's a balance and we're restoring it to normal by blocking the effects of dopamine.
The effectiveness of antipsychotic drugs in alleviating symptoms is shown in Augustine's behavior after 4 weeks on medication.
I wanted to become a patriarch, a doctor of the church, a world leader. Things of that sort.
Fairly grand ideas.
Yeah, I don't have them anymore.
Back then, did you really believe those things? Were you really caught up in them?
I was caught up in them, but I didn't believe I could make it.
You didn't think you'd make it.
Right.
What do you think now? What do you think the future holds for you now?
Work.
Work?
Work.
Very recently, there have been other exciting things happening. Second and third generations of drugs, rather different molecules, have become available. The exciting thing is they seem to have the capacity to help that 25 to 30% of patients whom we never could touch before with the usual neuroleptic or psychotic type of drugs. These drugs seem to work in a slightly different way. They work on different molecules in the brain. We call them receptor systems. And it may well be that by changing the structure of the drug molecule that we're dealing with, we may gradually close in on most of the sick molecular components in the brains of schizophrenics, and eventually we may be able to help all of our patients. But again, I must stress that this is amelioration and stabilization. It's not cure yet, and cure is what we want. In other words, we have to learn how to prevent.
You're taking a research medication now, aren't you?
Yes. It's very helpful to me.
Oh, that's good news. What's it doing for you?
Well, it clears up my mind for thinking, and I feel a little healthier.
Oh, good.
One can imagine a day in the future when we will have subtyped the illness, both biochemically and behaviorally, and will be able to treat the individual ideally with more specific medications and with a better long-term prognosis. That's sort of the dream that propels people like myself to continue our research.
Steve, I see you moving your lips as if you're saying something, but I don't hear anything.
Well, thank you.
Are you aware that you're moving your mouth as if you were speaking? You weren't. Is it possible you were hearing things when your mouth was moving?
No. Sure.
Thanks for coming in, Steve.